guys, this is my last video, okay? Job 24022, Kennedy's job. This big piece here. Okay, this piece here have a panel, and this piece touch the panel. Okay, that's the reason I put panel XXX. You should polish the panel to avoid damage the panel, okay? But when I saw there, I took this picture, we didn't polish this. It's not polished. Two problems. One problem, we could damage the panel, but unfortunately we didn't. But right here, it's not polished. We have a really big part here without polish. And it's hard to see here, but this should be straight, you know? Should be straight, like EP and panel here, straight. And this piece was like this. There is like a transition like this. Not big like this, but there's a transition. Like this, okay? What's the problem when I have something like this? Let me explain what happened. It's a really small mistake, but let me explain. When Felipe programmed this, he forgot to polish the panel part. You see here, he runs the EP, he runs the seam, we run the tool inside the sink, but not the panel here. And what's the problem? When he didn't run, we have something like this, okay? A weird transition, but it's not only because it's weird. We have more problems. Let me try to explain. Okay, right here we have the sink, and right here we have this transition in only one side, and right here we have a notch. The piece is like this. We have a notch there, and right here it should be this with a seam here in the middle, okay? I will cut this. I will cut later. Let me use this. This should be polished, and right here, panel XXX. That means we should polish panel XXX. Okay? This piece should be like this, straight, panel EP, okay? But unfortunately, because Felipe forgot to, we have something like this. Of course, I'm exaggerating here, but we have something like this. I will put a seam here in the middle, okay? Seam and seam, okay? Let's imagine this is the wall. Use this as another wall, and I will put the piece here, and I use this as the panel. Imagine this is the panel. I put close here. Okay. This should be like this, okay? This is the right way to install. They should install this here and install this piece here, and that's all. But the problem, unfortunately, Felipe forgot to polish this, so we have this. When the installer is trying to install with this, another thing, if I put here and here, the way it should be like this way, okay? This is the right way. let me draw here the overhang. This is the 1.5 inch overhang. 1.5 inch overhang. Okay. Right here we have something here on the wall. A column here. That's the reason we have a notch. We have a notch there. Okay. But because Felipe forgot to polish here and he made like this, I think when the installers try to install, the piece didn't fit, you know, because it's bigger. The piece didn't fit. What do I think the installers did? I think the installers cut here. I think, okay? The installer, I think they cut this. And why do I think? They cut and they could install. Why? Because if you will see here, we have a seam here, okay? This is the wall part. We have 4.5 on the left side and 4.5 the right side. It's the same size, the left and right. But if you see the installer's picture, let me see. Right here, the next one, right here. Look how big is this piece, and look how big is this. This piece is bigger, all right? Like this one is 4.5, and this one is less. It's like 4.25. You see? Different dimension. So if my shop drawer was the two, both of pieces are the same dimension, right here is different dimension, it means the installer cut this piece. All right, right now we have two different here, okay? But okay, probably they cut this and they install, and this is because we forgot this panel here. And when the installers install this and they try to install this one here, the right piece, when they try to install, we have this. It's not a line like this. It's not a line. What the installers did, they could cut the piece or cut the wall. It doesn't matter, but they decide to cut the wall. Look the wall. They cut the wall. Look the wall. From the seam to here, they cut the whole wall. You see? They cut the wall. And when they cut the wall, imagine right here, they cut the wall. When they cut the wall to align those two pieces, they cut the wall and they put the piece inside the wall. But the piece touch here. And what they did, they also cut here. Let me go here. They also cut here, okay? Because they cut the wall or cut here, it's the same, okay? But they cut the wall, and because they cut the wall, they should cut this. They cut this part here, and then they align. They align here, they align here, they cut here, okay. But when they cut the back of the piece and when they cut the wall, of course they had to move the piece, and the overhang that was 1.5 is not 1.5 anymore. And when they try to cut this, if you see here, they cut here. When they try to cut, because they cut the wall, so the piece enter on the wall. That notch touched the column, so I think they had to cut this. And when they cut, Look here, the seam. Look, they had to cut the wall. Right here, we have a problem here. They need to fix. They break. In another words, only because we forget to polish this, that's really important, because hopefully we didn't damage the panel. But because that's a small problem, the installers needed to cut this piece, and because this seam didn't match, so they cut the wall to put the piece here inside, and when they tried to put the piece inside, it was touching the column. They cut this, but they broke, and the customer is complaining about the overhang. I'm not sure because customer didn't explain what's the overhang they are talking about, but I think it's this overhang because those alteration change the overhang here.